Editing is a humbling process. I mentioned a couple days ago that I got my proofread back for Restless Spirits Book Two, and I didn't do anything yesterday, obviously, because I went and had a nice visit with my family. I hung out with my grandkids and my kids, and it was a very nice day, but I didn't get any work done, obviously, because I was out of the house all day. So this morning, my intention was to accomplish two things. I wanted to get through my proofread and get that back to Red Adept for the final macro that they run to double check punctuation. And I also wanted to start the cover design for the book. And I did contact the artist who did my first cover. So hopefully they will be willing to work on the second one as well. I really like how the first cover turned out, and I would like the books to be complementary, not exact matches, but I want them to at least show that they are installments in a series. But going back to the editing process, I am not a grammar whiz. I'm not terrible at grammar, but I'm not a grammar whiz. I have a hard time keeping up with the changes that happen over time because language is a living thing, and what I learned 50 years ago is not necessarily the case today. So I also tend to read older books, maybe the classics. I love Regency romances, and the language in those is a little bit different than what contemporary tongue twister contemporary readers might enjoy. So obviously, I may have habits, deeply ingrained habits, based on my education and my reading habits. And one of those problems is that I like to put the dialogue tag said before the name of the person who was speaking. So I will say, for example, "This is a great book," said Cassidy. Now, apparently it's correct that I can do that, but the preferred format is, "This is a great book," Cassidy said. So the dialogue tag and the name would be flipped. And I used "said so and so" throughout my entire manuscript. So every time I used "said," the proofreader flipped it because I put it before the name, which is the preferred version at this point in time. And it's easier for readers if I don't put something into my book that's going to make them stop and go, this doesn't feel right. So we use Microsoft Word, and I send them a Word document where they set up track changes, and then they make the recommendations based on grammar corrections or dialogue tag corrections or punctuation corrections, whatever it might be. And considering how quickly my proofread came back after it started much quicker than I expected, and the return was within a few days. So I had hopes that the manuscript would be pretty clean, that meant that there would not be a lot of changes. And for the most part, I was correct. I had a few punctuation recommendations and, capitalizations and things like that. Just a couple words where I needed to use a back to tongue twister time, thesaurus, use my thesaurus. Oh my gosh, I can't talk today. To come up with an alternate word because I used two of the same version of a word too close together. So I was looking for synonyms for those words. And only two of those came up, which I take as a pretty good thing because I had to go back and make a few of those changes in earlier parts of the editing process. So I did catch a lot of them, but I missed a couple. And the punctuation was pretty clean, so that was good. There weren't a lot of grammatical problems with sentence structure, my subjects and my predicates and all of that. Whatever you might remember from learning your grammar back in a school. But the one thing that I had the problem with was putting "said" before the person's name instead of after. So with track changes, I was able to go to the changes part of the Word program, and then I could click on accept and move to next. So this morning I just spent quite a while, I think it was more than an hour, clicking on accept and move to next. And probably 99% of those changes were flipping said and a name. So I found that a very humbling process. Again, not grammatically incorrect, but the current preference is to put the dialogue tag after the name of the speaker, in case you ever want to write anything. Now, I could be, fussy and say that's how I want it because that's how I'm used to reading it, but that doesn't make sense if I want people to actually enjoy what I've written, because if it's tripping readers up, then my preferences really aren't as important as what the readers would find more comfortable for their reading style. So I had no problem making the changes. There were just a lot of them. And that's why editing it can be such a humbling experience, because even when you're doing things correctly, technically correctly, if you haven't kept up with the modern preferences, then you're going to have some issues. And our editors use, I believe, the most updated version of the Chicago Manual of Style, which is very common for writers to use a style guide to make sure that they are keeping up with the times. And they do update. I don't know if the book is updated annually or every few years, but having a current version of a style manual can be very important for a writer. Since we hire editors, I'm not so worried about it because I hope that they will catch anything that I've missed. And that's one of the reasons that we hire other people to help us with our work, because it's very important to get other eyes on what you're doing. And hiring someone who has a lot of experience doing it, our editors, they also publish Red Adept Publishing and Red Adept Editing. But Red Adept Editing, they have so many people, so many clients that they see a wide variety of manuscripts in a wide variety of styles with a wide variety of grammatical issues. So we feel pretty confident about the work they do. And we just, even though it's a large expense, it is actually the biggest expense for our publishing business right now is editing our books, because that is usually a certain number of cents per word throughout the book for the editing process, and it can range in the hundreds to thousands of dollars depending on your service and the length of your book and all of that. And we pay it in installments. So we pay for the first edit as we do the first edit, and then we pay for the rest of the editing before that portion of it begins. And I believe that varies by editing service. We may be able to find less expensive editors, but we feel so confident with our current editors that that's not something we're going to do anytime soon. So that will continue to be a large expense in our little publishing business. Another expense that we are about to spend is for my cover design, and that will be hundreds of dollars. And again, there is a process involved in that. I might do a video about the cover design process tomorrow because that can be very fiddly. But today I think I'm focused on editing and how humbling it can be to have other people with a more current knowledge of grammar look at your work and say, you might want to change this a lot. There was a time when I would have been just mortified at any recommendations that I needed to fix things. I am a perfectionist, and I find that doing these daily videos and doing very little editing on them has been helping my perfectionism a little bit, because I realize that In most cases, people don't notice what I notice. I'm much too hard on myself sometimes. I'm definitely not perfect. So I think that doing these daily videos has helped me with my perfectionism, and sending my book out to beta readers and editors, you know, I've done it multiple times now. I think that's helped me get over my perfectionism a little bit as well, and to realize that I can't be perfect at everything. Honestly, I can't be perfect at anything, but we're all human. And feeling like I should be perfect is probably a failing that I need to get over. But, some things are what they are. Excuse me. The neighborhood is doing a lot of yard work today, so it's it's setting off my allergies a bit, which may be my clue that I need to wrap this up for today. But I thought I'd bring you along on the current status of Restless Spirits Book Two. I'm pretty confident I should have it ready for publication by my birthday, which is in a little bit over a month now. So coming soon. Restless Spirits Book Two. Once I have my cover in hand, I will do a cover and title reveal for the book. And at that point, I might do a short pre-sale period. I don't know if it's really worth it, though, at this point. I will probably be doing pre-sale for Battleborn Bride. And that is still with the editors. It's also with one of my beta readers. The other thing I need to do today is get manuscripts to JT and my other author friend to get their input on Battleborn Bride, because I'm sure that's going to have a lot more finessing before it's ready to go. But in the meantime, I'm wrapping up Restless Spirits Book Two, which feels good. It feels like I've been really deeply involved in the writing process of these two books for an extended period of time, which I've mentioned. So it's kind of nice to allow my mind to wander to my next projects, which will be coming soon. I hope you're having a wonderful day. We're heading into a holiday weekend here in the United States because Monday is the Memorial Day holiday. If you are someone who works I guess what you'd consider a normal Monday through Friday schedule, hopefully you get that day off. If you're working in a service industry, you may not. So hopefully you will get a few days off in a row to make up for working on a holiday. I've been there. And I hope that you have fun plans for this coming weekend, whether you are off for the holiday or not, because we all deserve the chance to enjoy ourselves every once in a while, don't we? I think so. And it looks like, at least here in northern Nevada, the weather should be very nice. So I hope it's also nice where you are. Anyway, I will talk to you again tomorrow. I'm Cassidy Carson, and this is The Life of a Writer. Take care.